Okay. Yeah, so everybody's been having a good discussion, so probably ought to bring the meeting to order. Okay, fire exits are out the door to the left, down the steps and out the door. Or to the right, all the way to the end of the hall, out the door. Okay. There's an AED in the hall if needed. This time I'd ask any cell phones or anything like that to be turned off, so it doesn't interrupt somebody speaking here tonight. And with that, I guess I'll call it.
Sharon Steigerwald.
Here.
Steve Ross.
Here.
Dave Martin.
Here.
Rich Snyder.
Yes.
James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Ed Nelson.
Yes.
Steve Hickman.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the April 6th meeting? And if so, if feel there's additional notations that should be made, or corrections, or anything else that might be relevant to what we discussed?
I wasn't here, but I did notice.
You had some concerns about licensing of new cars. or
Used cars.
Used cars.
Anyone selling used cars in the state of New York on their property must have a license. But either a dealer's license if they're selling retail, or a wholesale license if they're selling. Do it all the time. They sell vehicles out of their property. If you're selling a vehicle, New York State usually doesn't say anything. But if you're a business and selling vehicles, you must have a license.
I don't know if we want to do it as an addendum or just speaking it for what it is.
Well, it can serve, well, it would not be here tonight.
Right.
We just running.
Okay. Maybe you can have that discussion if he calls you or talks to you about that. Yeah, okay. So he doesn't have to wait a whole minute.
Yeah, because it's a process. It's quite a process.
And it becomes this person, when you had a car dealership yourself, or
Right, and my son has a license to sell vehicles. I mean, it's a sign that has to be posted on your property.
so anybody else have any additions, corrections?
Make a motion for approval of April 6th.
It's been called seconded. It's.
Sharon Steigerwald. Steve Ross.
Yeah.
Dave Martin.
Yes.
Rich Snyder.
Yes.
James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Ed Nelson.
Yes.
Steve Hickman.
Very good. The first item on the agenda is for Jeff Warback, and it's 6328 Shore Acres Drive, seeking conservation for the development permit. It's pretty much looks like a shed within 100 foot of the lake shore. Somebody here?
Yep.
Stand up there at the podium there and just give some additional information to your spiel.
My name is James Lorbeck, Jeff's brother. He wants to have a permit for a 10 by 12 shed. Survey, he's got a map there and everything. Showing what's
Can you speak up a little bit, please?
I'm sorry. There's a shell, have a map. There's the property line and the survey. Like I said, it's a 10 by 12 shed. So it looks like he's got plenty of room there with 10 by 12 shed.
This isn't a public hearing, but we're gonna go and discuss this a little bit. 3 feet?
I don't have any engineering concerns. It looks like it meets the setback requirements. This shed, I believe Cheryl will, in issuance of the building permit will address, whether there's it's movable and things like that, because it is in hazard areas.
Okay, Keith,
I have no concerns. It is a type 2 action, and we can vote on it tonight if the board is so inclined.
Cheryl, sideline setbacks and all the other stuff that there is.
Yeah, everything's fine, he's already been to the zoning board of appeals for his CHAP permit, it's already been granted, so this is his final step before taking the permit.
Okay. So it's 10 foot from the house, 6 foot from the side lot line, 5 foot from the road edge, and 35 feet from the rocks and water, correct? I just happened to be going down the road and everything else, and I noticed that there's a downspout. It's focused on that side where the shed's gonna be up there one corner. Okay? You just might wanna look at that, make sure there's a diffuser on it or something, so like that, so it's.
On the west side is the
Yeah.
east.
Sure. Steve?
How are you securing the shed to the ground to keep it from floating away if you flood?
He's having, someone, put in. Sorry?
He's gonna have like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tied down.
All right, well, it said maybe, I saw it in here, it said maybe on pads, that's why I wanted to know. It has to be secured, so your neighbor doesn't end up with it. That's all I have.
Just so your brother knows, lake levels are 47.01 as of 1:05 Thursday afternoon, that's flood stage.
Yes.
Where your high woods.
Yeah.
So, hey, cut dry.
Okay. Steve?
Chris, and there's no conservation issues with
I
it?
was just gonna. So, I saw your comments. Yes, there is other sheds up and down, the same questions are raised each day. With that being said,
I'll make a motion for the application of Jeff Gorback, 6328 Short Acre Drive to be a type 2 action under seeker.
second.
Sharon Steigerwald,
Yes.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin.
Yes.
Rich Slider,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Hittens.
Resolution approved.
Make a motion to approve the Conservation Corridor Development Permit for Jeff Gorback, 6328 Short Acre Drive, to construct a 10-by-12 shed within 100 feet of the lake shore. This is an SR zoning district, LWRP. C has already been granted, tax account 008.45-1-23, with following documents submitted: letter of intent, Conservation Corridor Development Permit, instrument survey, and property tax.
Second.
Sharon Steigerwald,
Yes.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Rich Slider,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Hittens.
Thank you, everyone.
And Jeff Conley,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, second item on the agenda is for 23 subdivision. Michael Lee, 1050 Hamlin Center Road, for a property split.
Well, you've all seen this plan before.
Yeah.
I believe, the last time we had spoke about this, there was drainage was an issue, particularly on the east side of the property. I took the liberty of talking to the highway superintendent. He said that can be alleviated with a easement, which is what we're showing as a proposed easement. He's in the same camp as everybody else. It's a low-lying piece of property. Obviously, if you guys were to see a site plan on that piece of property, it's gonna address that drainage anyways. Just getting out in front of it and putting an easement on there, a proposed easement, I should say.
There's a pipe that crosses, town driveway that goes back to the athletic fields.
Okay.
Okay, it was running pretty good the other day, I faced the rain. And I was looking at that, the property lines to the side a little bit. So with the easement on here, then the town will have the ability to look into it. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what Mike was thinking.
On the other end of that, there's a small marsh up on the Hammond Center Road, which catches a lot of garbage and stuff, so there's a lot of things that we
Oh, yeah.
with over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of that's attributed to being so flat anyway, you know.
Okay. JP?
Splitting the lot back, it was originally split a long time ago. Splitting it back is, I don't understand your concerns. It creates a lot very similar to many of the neighboring lots. Regarding drainage easements, those will definitely be dictated by a site plan in the future, depending on how the site, or if the site is developed. So, for just the creation of the subdivision, I don't have any engineering concerns.
Keith?
Looking at the full-size map tonight for the first time, I was curious where we have a sanitary easement being called out. First time I've heard about that.
Proposed?
Yeah.
In my discussions with the highway superintendent, and he has talked to the homeowner, that if he was to further develop that piece of property, he would grant them access to an easement that the town owns just the other side of the property. So it's all proposed. It's like I said, if it got to a site plan, if we got to the site plan level of things, those have to be recorded.
Yeah.
Obviously have to go through this board again, just for everybody's view of it as well, so.
Is there a sanitary main going down the street there?
It ends, just to the west of the park.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Okay, this is a split. It becomes a formal subdivision, it just needs a look at it.
Yes.
Can you redo it now?
How long ago was this lot split like this, JP, do you know? And was there any further re-subdivision?
Well,
Or was it?
we have a map from that AJ Berea prepared in July of 2025 to split it. It had been merged many years before that. I would, just looking at the minutes from September of 2025, it was on the agenda here. It's an agenda item.
We've seen this a couple of times, yes.
Yeah, but whether there was a public hearing, it looks like in September of 2025, it was noted that they will require a public hearing. So I don't see that there was one going between September and now.
Was it the one in March of public hearing? when I came, and this all got tabled in the first place? I thought that was a public hearing in March when it came.
No, I don't believe so, because he never came back.
Well, it
There
came-
wasn't enough information.
There was a public hearing for the ZBA,
For what?
or in February, there was a public hearing for the area variance.
Which was granted.
From the ZBA.
And then I came here right after that. I was out of town for that, and then I came here in March. And I thought that was a public hearing.
There was no public hearing, we were just trying to vote it.
No, I think
No, it was a
they
public
tabled
hearing
it
for
because of the drainage.
Z- ZBA needed an area variance for the size of the lot.
Yeah, they don't meet, they don't meet the acreage.
Okay. So they had a public hearing for
For
the
that?
area variance,
Mm-hmm.
not for split.
No, but I thought when I came back from the zoning board, that we were coming, because we'd already been here once before, coming back, that was scheduled as a public hearing.
Okay.
And then we tabled it because of the drainage.
Well, I think there was another reason it was tabled, because the way the area variance was written by the ZBA, it oddly only gave the variance to lot one,
That is correct.
where you couldn't do it with one without the other. And I think we got stuck on that in February, that the zoning board's resolution didn't make any sense, because it only granted a width variance for lot one, which by virtue of the split, you have to give them both at the same time.
I'll vote on their side. They asked a question because I want to vote on their side.
Correct, and the way the variance was granted was oddly made.
But if they had area variance for lot one, does that constitute, and they had a brief, they had a meeting on it, public hearing, does that speak to what Rich is saying, that if the state, it was only granted for lot one because there was no lot two at the
I
time?
think that's where this got
Okay.
balled up.
All right,
So in any event,
so.
I don't think they had a public hearing for,
Keith, the question I have for you is that our duty to have a public hearing on something that will only make sense if you give an area variance to one side, the other side can therefore have it.
I think that's neither here nor there. If a subdivision requires a public hearing, either we had one or we didn't. I don't recall a public hearing, and if the belief is that we had a public hearing in March, then I guess Cheryl could pull a copy of the minutes from March and we can take a look at it. If we had a public hearing, we had a public hearing. I don't recall it myself.
But February 17th, we had a public hearing. That was for zoning board.
Of course, each board has to have its own public hearing.
Right, and then we had,
Wouldn't you need the variance on both lots in order to legally do it?
One would think.
they didn't do that. But it says, for the state here, the applicant will need to make application for the zoning board of appeals after the planning board has approved the property split and a new tax account number has been issued to a newly formed lot.
So in order to do this, we have to do due diligence, we do in every split. Okay, for not having a public hearing, we got to have a public hearing in order to justify it. There you go.
I love seeing you guys, just don't want to see you like 6 months more.
I can feel it, I can feel
I'm
your
sure.
pain, I really can.
Okay, public hearing it is.
Well, do we want to make the date for a public hearing? Huh? Well, I would like this one to get finished off.
The question is, it still does, it doesn't need a variance for the other lot.
And they want to do that after it's split.
Pardon?
Our zoning board wants to do that after it's already been split by the planning board.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I get to the one,
Page 22. Somebody gonna go there?
you first?
I'll make a motion to have page 23 subdivision, Michael Lee, 1050 Hamilton Road for public hearing on June 1st.
Second.
Sharon Steigerwald. Yes. Steve Law.
Or,
Yes. Dave Martin.
yes.
Chris Snyder.
Yes.
James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Ed Nelson.
Yes.
We back to my agenda. Okay, agenda item number 3 is for a special use permit for Sarah Ritchie at 8 McLean Drive, seeking a special use permit for dog breeding. They had 4 dogs, where only 3 were allowed. It's in our zoning district. And we have a big packet here. Somebody here representing them?
Good evening. I'm Evan Kelvin, Sarah's.
Who are you?
Evan Kelvin, I'm Sarah's husband. I get to speak, I guess. So I was unaware of the 3-dog rule, and I grew up here, both of you are boys, we did not know that. We have 4 dogs, 3 are adult dogs, 1 is just turning, she's 5 months right now. We have plans to breed our 2 dogs, they're hunting dogs. And doing that, I guess, would require a special use permit for me to have more than 3 dogs. So we came to the town to.
Let me ask you a question. When you license the dogs,
Mhm.
you license 4 dogs.
Only 3, because the one's still a puppy. The one's gonna be licensed before the next one.
Okay.
Is
Is
it
that from the
concerned?
previous breeding?
What was that?
Is that from the previous breeding of 2 of your dogs?
No, we purchased her 2. So we got her as a puppy. And we here, but that was our intent.
So, are you aware of license requirements for breeding?
So we do not need a license because we only have, it's gonna be 1 breeding female. And it says in, for licensing breeding requirements, we have to have more than 4 breeding females. We are not gonna do that anymore. Yeah, we're just gonna have the 1 breeding female at this point. We have 2 female dogs, but this is the only one that's gonna be. We don't like overbreed our dogs. If we plan on doing maybe 2 to 3 litters with her, and then she's just our pet and my hunting partner. So that's basically we keep a very clean yard and house, and our dogs are part of our family. They're in our house, and
Yes, the house is worked out.
yes,
I've been by there.
we try to keep it
It's
very well
fenced
shut.
and-
Yes. I got a fence back there. I also have another 5x10 covered like kennel run for the dogs. They very rarely go in there. I stick them there mainly when I mow the lawn, so they don't accidentally they're chasing me. But I know that there is a concern that I can try to get ahead of the dogs barking with one of our neighbors. That brought this house with thinking late. That's how I learned that I couldn't have 4 dogs. Our dogs are very, very well behaved. We have a neighbor in the backyard that's kind of like adjacent to ours, so I don't want to touch. Our dogs, and they put a camera in my backyard just to record this in case of this event. One of our security cams. Our dogs are lay on their back, kind of just hang out. As soon as the gentleman lets it down every day, they pull to the corner and start barking. Restricting my dogs to do it. As soon as I hear them bark, I walk to the back door. Come on, guys. Bring them inside, and I put them away to relieve you. It doesn't happen on his end, and it led to a complaint. So, I don't know what I can do about it. The dogs, they bark, but I handle it. I don't let them excessively bark. And, we bring them right in.
What's the breed?
German short hair pointer. Yep.
What's your coloration?
I have one that's, liver and what's the other, dark liver? Yeah, one's like whitish liver and one's like.
They have crop tails?
Are the other females spayed?
The other female, will be spayed, yes. If she gets it, we lock her up, so she's gonna get, she's like a little, Australian shepherd, so she's gonna be spayed.
So you figure, when you have to hire a sire,
No, I have, yeah, one of the other, I have a manager in charge.
they're not related.
No,
So 3 litters are about it.
that's all I wanna do, probably, we'll see, I'm sure it's a lot of work, this is more of a hobby type of thing, and, I have a full-time job, so I'm not looking to make this a career. I love these dogs, and they're very good lines, and we want to be able to, do something.
Okay. I'm sure you've been over a lot of things about the licensing and control and zoning. You're still up there, yes, Cheryl. How far have we gone back and forth with them, knowing what they're expecting?
Well, we're gonna, things to do with this intention. We do have 2 other places in Hamlin that have special use permits for breed. One's on Chasewell Road.
Do we have addresses on those other 2 instances? Or? I mean, if we talk about it and relate to them, we might be put the evidence.
Are they in the same zoning district?
No. They're in RDL.
Here, JP?
Not really any engineering concerns, these are all largely code-related issues.
Keith?
I think the core issue is whether the board makes a finding that the proposed use is a home occupation, like the home occupations that are already permitted. The code permits 6 things: an art music studio, dressmaking, teaching, babysitting, beauty shops, telephone answering service. So is dog breeding like any one of those? If it is, you can make a finding that it's a home occupation and allow it, otherwise it's not permitted by code.
Okay, hold that thought. Your next sentence. If we were to make a finding that cattle would be somewhat similar, it would require a special use permit.
Yes, but what's also true is that the SUP, the site plan requirements can be limited. You don't have to have a public hearing for a home occupation.
This is further discussion on this, and if we ask that this is doing it, sure. I did it again. I did it again. Right. Big rock here every time you look at it. Yeah. I had to wake up from a nap.
Oh, wow. So you wouldn't need a public hearing. But that's what confuses me.
the code makes a distinction between minor home occupations and presumably major home occupations. So it has to fit with, if you look further down in my memo, it speaks about the scope of home occupation. So if it's small enough, then the exemption for the public hearing applies.
Because I would think dog breeding, if that were my next door neighbor, I would want some sort of say. That's why I would think a public hearing would be beneficial, but not necessary.
Well, I guess the question is it mine? You don't think it's mine? And I think that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Then you can have the public hearing.
So what's the, so I'm not following, what's the making
No,
it
just a
minor or major?
discussion,
We just had a little discussion.
yeah.
Because they're out, Cheryl's ever got any complaints in regards to the dog?
They're not, not them, they're, you know, I mean, they're lots of animals.
Did you just say that's the house?
I think he called the animal control because they had 4 dogs. It wasn't, I don't even think it was a rush. I think it was because of the number of dogs.
Number of them are nuisance over the barking. Not like the guy across the street, for me, that's 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, we literally, like I said, I mean, dogs bark, they're very close, right? Like, you can't really stop, you
I'm
know?
gonna call them my own dogs.
So as soon as I hear them, like, I will not let them excessively bark. Like, we do it immediately, they come inside the house. We give them a break from whatever stimulants outside that's making them bark, so we don't annoy our neighbors. Like, we try to live peacefully. I mean, I hang out in my garage, I go to work, and I go to bed. Like, other than that, I'm not out, you know, out
Pay your
there,
taxes.
noise. Well, I mean, the house isn't serious, she pays her taxes.
One nice thing is a special use permit has literally a time limit to review. So if there was an issue, you could not have it reissued again the following year. I personally would see this no different than babysitting.
Mm.
I'm sorry, that's the way I look at it. If you're babysitting, you're probably louder than your dog. And you have probably the same number of living things to look after. So in my opinion, it is within the scope of the uses for home occupation in that zoning district. That's my opinion.
Okay,
As long as it meets that criteria, I'm okay with it.
2 years ago, I had a chance to go to Carolina, North Carolina, and meet up with a gentleman that had a big business for us across the street. And he had some English champion dogs, his sire. And he had a kennel. Right, kennel was 100 by 75. He had 15 breeding pairs, and they changed out every third. Okay, they weren't inbred or anything
Right,
else
yeah.
like that. They were sponsored by ProPlan.
Excuse me.
The gentleman hunted pheasants and other small quail with these dogs, and they did it from horseback. Okay, the old style. He also had an elevated platform that they go out to the field and stuff. One of the buildings had a horse stable that was cleaner than most people's stuffs. Okay, and it was hooked to an eatery in their dad. My friends, there was a kennel. Those dogs bark. When the trainer come through, and there was probably 20 dogs in a fenced-in yard, puppies, and they have training collars, and they hit the vibrating button, and they all stopped barking. I had a chance to have a meal with the owner, and he was a big contractor down there, multi-millionaire. Okay. And we would have thought he was the average Joe. But he said that breed is probably one of the most knowledgeable breed of doing what they're told or asked of. Maybe not the easiest to train, but one of the better attendant breeds, so.
I don't
That's
know.
my idea of a kennel.
I've only ever shot that dog once.
Me
Here's the beat.
Yeah,
They're very smart.
right. So that's what I feel is a kennel. I had a kennel once, and I had one male that I used once as a test breed. And that's it. So if you do 3 breeds, your special use permit might be over in a couple of years. So then your property's gonna wander encumbered. So that's my discussion. Agree with you. It's concerned, or one of the concerns I have is, what do we do a year from now?
They get the inspection.
They have an annual inspection. If we don't do a special use permit, there's nothing to do. So that's, you're being watched. Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I got no problem.
I think that makes a difference.
Anytime you want.
We do.
The inspection,
You?
you do the inspection, you wouldn't be without control of that? No.
Pardon me?
The puppies, you only keep them for 4 months.
No, you keep them, yeah, with 8 weeks. 8
Eight
weeks,
weeks.
18 months.
Sorry, I read something about up to 4 months. so.
Yeah, I think you can, we sell them at 8 weeks. By 8 weeks. More than ready. Litter puppies.
What are you gonna do if you don't sell them?
If I don't sell them, they'll,
One of them.
they'll find out.
Want your neighbor telling you if you have 5 dogs?
Yeah, no, you won't. We won't have 5 dogs.
Okay. No matter what we do, this becomes, what would the secret be in something like this if it was concerned to be a minor? Do we need to have a vote on whether or not you think this should be a minor home application first?
The question is whether it's a home occupation similar to existing home occupations on the list. The distinction between major and minor is a different issue.
Those other addresses that have breeding permit, I guess it is, it has special use permit. Those other addresses, I look at it like it's a business and it's a home occupation, and it was allowed to possibly put under zoning districts. So that, by fact, is, it's not so much different in one zoning than from the other. When we look at the residential districts, and it depends on the size of the breeding. You know, if you're only doing breeding one female, okay, and you have one breeding cycle, I don't know what that is, but you're recruiting.
I would offer that every property stands on its own. The fact that other people are doing it is not an argument for it.
But of all these things in our zoning districts that are allowed for special use permits, in our code book, are they all pretty much the same?
The code has different districts, and kennels are specifically permitted in certain districts, certain residential districts, but not in this one.
But they do have a home occupation in the other districts, correct?
They do, but you can get permitted in other residential districts as a kennel specifically, so we don't have to do this dance about whether it's a home occupation or not.
So as we go back and forth, once again, do you think we should follow our rules and see if it's small enough home occupation?
That's not the issue. The issue is whether it's a home occupation similar to the permitted ones, those half dozen items I read off earlier. Dressmaker, answering service, babysitter, so on. If you believe this proposed use is similar to that, this board has to make a finding, and that requires a vote.
There requires what?
A vote.
A vote. I think we should do a finding, that's a me in it.
I would make a motion to find that this is similar to the proposed 6 uses under the code.
You mean the home, you believe it's
Home
a home
occupation
occupation?
uses provided on the 6 home occupation uses provided on the list.
Thank you.
I made a motion.
A second.
Board second.
Everyone.
Who's on first?
Everyone.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
All of those,
Okay, Sharon Steiger,
Yes.
Steve Block,
Yes.
Dave Martin.
Yes.
Chris Schreiber,
yes.
James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Vittner.
Now, having done that, the question becomes,
We're just gonna go back and forth and figure this out.
I'll be back there.
now, if you were considering giving relief on this public hearing requirement, you would have to find that it's a minor home occupation. And a minor home occupation under your code requires you to find the following, that 1, no individual who is not a resident of premises may be employed by the business, which means the owners who live there have to be running the show, no one else, no outside employees. 2, no sign identifying the business. 3, all business conducted by appointment, no more than 10 appointments per day. 4, no more than 2 customer vehicles on the premises at the same time. And finally, 5, no commercial vehicles used in connection with the home occupation use shall be parked on the premises.
Check, all checks.
I think I addressed that too in the letter that I sent.
So does anyone make a motion
I
to
make a
find that
motion.
it's a minor home occupation as described under the code?
I make a motion to define it as a minor home occupation.
Second.
You know, 2 seconds. The second. Okay, one second.
Did everyone second, or did we vote on the motion on this thing?
Sharon Steiger,
Yes.
Steve Block,
Yeah.
Dave Martin.
Yes.
Schreiber,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Vittner.
Secret,
Type 2.
someone like to take a resolution for secret basis.
Make a motion then for, Sarah Ritchie, 8 Claim, Drive, for a type 2, negative debt.
Second.
All votes, please.
Sharon Steiger,
Yes.
Steve Block,
Yeah.
Dave Martin.
Yes.
Chris Schreiber,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson, Steve Vittner.
Okay.
Now, if I may, we're working our way through this. The town code has specific restrictions and conditions related to kennel facilities. And any facility or property where you're breeding dogs is considered a kennel under the Hamlin Code. So you have the power to impose certain conditions of approval that relate to kennels. And some of them are built in by code. And I included these,
These are 1 through 5.
1 through 6, the ones I'm looking at, under the caption special use permits.
1 through 6.
We'd like to have them entered into the motion.
Well, I think some of them have to be, yes.
I have a question for the owner's rep. Do you have any outside kennels or
I just have that 5x10 one with the roof, but they don't stay on
they don't stay in
there. No,
those?
if we're not home, our guardians.
Before we go for the special use permit considerations, back on what we voted for, Keith, we talked about number 4, kennel is defined as code as follows: a property or structure used for the boarding, breeding, or daycare of up to 6 or more domesticated animals for commercial purposes. So babysitting is adequate. All right, so basically they come in the house and
Yes, sir. Yeah, when we're at work, when we're not home, we're out inside.
okay, let me try this. We got a seeker. And special use permit, well, the kennel has some things that have to happen, as well as the issues of either 1 or more of 6 for the special use permits. Like 2067 we're looking at. On-site open storage or composting of animal waste is prohibited. Is there a waste plan or?
We pick up our dog waste and throw it in the
Pardon me?
garbage. We pick up our dog waste and throw it in the garbage.
It's gonna increase in value.
Luckily, we have teenagers that need chores.
So the only kennel facilities that you have behind the rear foundation of the principal structure would be areas where they go, areas where they get out of the water real quick.
Yes.
It's not gonna be 50 feet.
It says in May, but no, not closer to 50. And they, basically, they're kind of listening.
Yeah, and they're kept indoors between 10 PM and 6:30 AM.
Oh, yeah. So,
I got a question. What happens to the fourth dog? Breeding the dog. Is it still considered a kennel?
He said it would be his pet. So,
But it's not a kennel. So what happens at that point?
Not really giving you a count.
Basically, if it's under special use permit, as a kennel, they could keep up to 6 dogs. So they can always keep the 4, no problem. If they don't have special use permit, they're technically over by.
Which I may have to.
But didn't we, once I got confused, there, like, are we not going with a special use permit, because we found it similar?
no, you're not going.
There is a special use permit required for home occupation.
Sir, I would like to add one thing, and it's easier that, or, you know, and instead of, usually we get a special use permit, we wait 1 year to come in. I could actually come in ahead of time, just to see what you're going to be doing, so we have,
The base.
yes. If that is approved, if that's,
Yeah.
that was what we're looking. But you wouldn't get your special use permit, it would just be me coming over and just checking boxes off for you.
Right.
We do that, yeah.
We can make it a condition that you inspect it.
Right.
Okay. Good.
Are you familiar with the obligations you have to accept the special use permit?
I'm sorry, sir, could you say it again?
Are you familiar with this?
Where you speak.
Special use permits, 20-67.
The conditions there have to be set out in the decision letter and your motion. Conditions 1 through 5 are mandatory. Condition 6 basically is a laundry list of conditions that you may choose to impose, such as hours of operation, odor control, soundproofing of buildings, that sort of thing.
Would or would not apply.
So if you go to.
If you want them to, yes.
So like at night,
They would be.
one of our dogs sometimes jumps in another list. The other ones have their own kennels, they are each.
No, as
they
long
do
as they're-
each have their own.
As long as they're inside.
Yeah, but they're
That's-
inside.
Make sure you're
that's
familiar with,
the-
that you're familiar with what you're agreeing to.
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an enclosed building, doesn't matter.
Okay, all right.
Your house is an enclosed building.
Okay. If you want them in cages.
No.
I would like to go back to a minor home. Minor home occupation, if we thought they had an English license. Since they're not living outside, I say they're different between a kennel and having one dog breeding with another dog. So a lot of these, I'm gonna go to 6. I'm gonna take a stab at a minor home occupation for this dog breeding business at 8 Acclaim Drive, owner Sarah Ritchie. Okay. We are using our authority to waive the site plan and site plan SPP public requirements for this minor home occupation. The minor home occupation for said here requires the business comply with at least the following. No individual who is not a resident of the premises may be employed by the business. Number 2, there shall be no sign identifying the business. Number 3, all business is conducted by appointment only. No more than 10 appointments may be scheduled during any one day. I don't foresee that being that. If it does, we're in the wrong business. No more than 2 customer vehicles shall be on the premises at the same time. And no commercial vehicle shall be used in connection with a professional office or home occupation. Use shall be parked on the premises. Under 52067 special use permits, I'm going down to number 6 because most of these pertain to a simple minor home occupation that could be a breeding kennel. These are any such conditions with the planning board might deem appropriate for a particular site and particular kennel facility in order to avoid detrimental impact on surrounding properties and respect their plan. Fencing and or screening around the outside kennel areas in place. Odor control. That'll be something that'll be looked over by our code compliance officer. Soundproofing of buildings if needed. Maximum number of animals permitted at any one time. This is being covered by this minor home occupation. Species of animals permitted would be as licensed by the town of Hamlin. The adequacy of staffing for animal supervision. It's on you two guys. Hours of operation when animals may be delivered or picked up when visitors are permitted. That's by, you're gonna have, open by appointment only.
I guess the question is whether you're imposing these conditions, and if you are, you have to be specific.
We've already talked about.
No, it's not what we're talking about. It's what you want.
Which of these do you want?
Right.
So, for example, are you capping the number of animals permitted, the number of dogs?
Four.
So, okay.
No, they're not supposed to include
Plus
puppies.
puppies.
So if
Well, that's
the
a short-
puppies, it'd be a
that's a
statute
short-
limit of 10.
Puppies aren't considered a dog or animal until they reach the age of 4 months. They will not be considered a dog by the rules until they reach the age of 4 months.
You can impose conditions on that. Those are different regulations. This is not, we're not the dog control board
Well,
here.
but
We're
It's
the
a
planning board.
definition, okay? And I don't need to bring that up because it's going to be 12 weeks anyways, okay? So they're not going to get to an adult status, okay? In this house. So we talked about hours of operations. We're going to be there, normal hours, working hours to dusk, dawn to dusk. Hours of operations when animals may be delivered or picked up when visitors are permitted. That's covered.
It's not enforceable unless you specify what they are.
I'm specifying them right now.
Time of day, please.
Pardon me?
A time of day, a start time and an end time.
Daylight to dusk. Okay?
Not really.
Oh, good. 8 o'clock in the morning. Don't make me swear.
I'm not trying to
8
do.
o'clock at night. All right? Or 4, again, 4 dogs of licensed by the man. I want to be specific. I'm reading specifics.
Yeah, because we just have to pick the ones out of this. We don't have to go through all of them.
Sir, could I say something really quick? Just interject something.
Sure, I'm on G. Go ahead.
Okay. It keeps getting mentioned, a license. We're not doing a license. We're doing a special use permit.
No, we're talking licensed dogs.
Oh, okay, licensed dog. Thank you.
Yeah, it
Okay,
should be an adult
thank you.
dog to be licensed, yes.
Okay, licensed dog. Okay, thank you.
All right. After considering of this site, the site's proximity to neighboring residents, the dogs are being kept inside a home. They will be kept inside a home, except when they go outside to do their business or be trained. So there's no adverse noise impact on surrounding properties.
Sure. May I just ask a question about that? So if I'm home, I mean, if that's something I can't let my dog be in our fence area. Does it say they have to be inside all the time?
Their domicile is not a kennel, is
Okay.
defined, which is an area with an indoor period so they can get out of the weather. It's your house.
Okay.
If it's upon inspection, the kennel facilities will only be carried on as long as code compliance officers feel they're adequate. And, that's pretty much it. That would be
That's
my
your
motion.
motion. That's your motion.
That's my motion.
A second.
Sharon Steigerwald. Steve Law.
Yeah.
Dave Martin.
Yes.
Chris Schleider.
Yes.
James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Ed Nelson.
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Hey, Bill's landmark. I'll try to do better next one.
Sir, I will say one thing. Well, first of all, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll be in touch. Okay. I do have an addition to the agenda that was not on this agenda, but it was on our minutes for 5824 West Watoma, which was Loretta Richenberg. And if you have the minutes, it was for a conservation corridor development permit to repair and replace the structural components under the home located at 5824 West Watoma Beach Road within 100 feet of Lake Ontario with a tax account number 008.150-01-031, Shoreline Residential District, Conservation Corridor Development Area. They've already got their CHOP permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the LWRP has already been completed. Do you have your minutes from April 6th?
That was on the April 6th one?
Yes. Here. So you have the packet from last month.
Well, I had 3 of these.
They're doing something similar to their neighbor next door had done about 3 years ago, Kevin Brown. He had to have his joist repair.
Okay. I didn't find it online. It's from last month.
From last month's minutes.
The 5824?
Pardon?
The 5824?
Yes, sir. Yes.
5824.
And the reason no one was there for the application because they didn't understand our procedures of zoning board and conservation board.
Okay. Janine?
I looked at this and I didn't see any issues, and the GP commented that as long as there's water can flow in and flow out, if there's flooding conditions, then it would is acceptable.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the board?
Well, all we're doing is actually like 124 feet of joint replacement. And then we're doing a 152 feet of silver dome installation. So it's at an R11 value to prevent any of the cold from coming inside of the crawl space area. So we're encapsulating the inside walls, interior walls.
JP?
My comment last time was that since there's going to be work, as Janine alluded to, if there's work going to be done under the foundation, now is the time to meet the flood damage prevention code, and have the breakable openings to allow free passage of floodwaters. So I think that'll fall under when Cheryl gets her building permit, that those elements are included.
Please.
I have no concerns.
become a type 2? Yes. Cheryl,
Yes, sir.
concerns?
I have no concerns because I've seen multiple houses along West Watoma, probably at least 4 or 5, that have needed this. And they've had to go on, they needed this kind of repair and replacement, because over the years, we have had floods, 17 and 19, and even before that causes damage.
30-mile-an-hour winds right now, we're gonna get some of those same issues.
No concerns.
I was just curious, how you're what kind of insulation you're putting on?
Our value is actually a foam insulation.
Okay, that's what I wondered, if it was foam versus bats.
Yes, no, we try to stay away from any organic living materials because that prevents actually mold resistance and all that stuff, and humidity. It will hold humidity inside of the system, vapor, and then it creates rotting.
I used to do a lot of work under a house along the lake, so yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was my concern. I'm good.
You use a foam board.
Yes,
Yeah.
full board.
Yeah.
Well, the crawl space is only 2 feet, so we take a 8 sheet by 2 feet, we'll cut them out as the size that it needs to be. We're integrated into the walls, so like that we can protect it, but it's not an organic material.
Does that work just as well as spraying?
Yes, sir.
It does.
Yes. Well, with the spraying, you have like all the chemicals that are into the spraying system. You have to remove homeowners, especially from the living home, for about like a period of 3 hours with the cervical installation. You don't have to. You can actually be at home and then we can implement the work. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of curious of how you're gonna keep the water when the water level blows over the wall and blows through the insulation. Are you gonna have openings for it to come in and out?
No, so then it's going to be a sealed system. We're only creating an opening underneath the one section where we don't have no access to the front corner of the crawl space. So we are removing 2 sections of black, so like that we can go inside of the system, and then those blacks are going to be replaced once we finish the replacement of the doors.
That doesn't meet the flood damage prevention.
Right, it does not.
Water has to have free access underneath and back up.
Right.
I haven't seen the plans yet, so we will
So I
make
just want
sure.
him to understand that
Yes.
he's gonna be looking at something a little bit different.
Okay.
You just can't block the whole thing off.
Okay.
It has to have.
And access of in and out.
It has to have relief.
The water has to be able to get back out from underneath it, and it has to be able to flow.
No, yes, we're getting access through the home, through the inside of the home.
Not you,
No.
the water has to
Oh,
have
no,
access.
yes. Okay, no, so on that behalf, I will have to take a look at it real quickly on my department to see, because I guess it's actually a sump pump inside of the home, inside of the closed space area, to evacuate any water that comes in.
There's not a big enough sump pump.
I know, it's not gonna be.
You're gonna need to review the flood damage
It's
prevention.
something like a hinge.
Yeah, a flap door
Or
that,
like a flapper that goes both ways. So when the water wants to hit against the house, it can go underneath and it can also flow back up.
Okay.
it's designed so you don't blow those foundation walls out.
Okay.
It allows that flood
So
water,
the system will.
flood waters to come through and come out.
There's a lot of pressure when that water hits
The wall.
You may need, I haven't seen, you may need one access panel.
In the flood damage prevention code, it specifies the areas needed per square foot.
So we probably should try to get that quote from
Yes,
Sheriff.
I will be getting it from her, so I gotta follow up the code that it needs to be provided. Yes, sir.
You know a lot more about it than I do. I'll make a motion. Direct on the show, but there is special release from somewhere that has to be there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I make a motion for Loretta Richenberg, under seeker the type 2 action. Second.
Sharon Steigerwald,
Yes.
Steve Loth,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Schleider,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve, conservation corridor permit.
with the following concerns.
With the following concerns. That the homeowner gets the, proper building permit and, flood damage, yeah, information. Second?
Sharon Steigerwald,
Yes.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Schleider,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Now let's sit down with Cheryl, go over the architecturals and make sure everything's all there.
Yeah, I will email Kim first thing in the morning and speak to her.
Beautiful.
Okay,
And I'll expect that, and then you're gonna email it straight to him, right?
I probably will, yes.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for
You have
coming
a
out.
blessed day.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Last item on the agenda, I believe now, is property merge, Dean Jones and Hammond Water LLC, Jones subdivision, 123 and 145 Walker Road. Sorry you had to wait through all of it.
Sorry, Monday. This is actually a change of lot line. It's a change of lot line. Two properties are both part of a filed subdivision. Dean's property came with this little chunk in the bottom that he's been maintaining over the years. I was in front of you guys a couple years ago from Greenwells, who bought the property immediately to the east. This is on Walker Road, on the south side of Walker Road, near the town of Landover. The people that bought the house from Greenwells had an agreement with Mr. Jones to sell them that 25 or 50-foot strip of whatever. So, because they are both part of a file subdivision, that's why we're doing this subdivision type thing now. But pretty straightforward. It actually cleans it up to make there's more room for over there.
Originally, I was trying to figure out who the LLC is.
And they really, the neighbors are selling it, the property to the other neighbor, because he wants to put a pole barn up at the end of his driveway. And if he didn't have that little parcel, he wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, they came in last week, the owners of the property, of Lot B.
So this piece that was dash line wasn't part of his property, and it's gonna be part of his property, it's moved to this.
This, the original configuration of this lot was like this. And this was going with this one. We're just trying to make that go away, so.
This is the way we can have.
You can have the whole bar, you guys. No engineering concerns.
Does this need a public hearing?
No.
No.
No questions, no concerns.
Sure.
No, no concern.
No. Okay. Yeah, good. Seeker?
Type 2?
And then for, Dean Jones, Hammond Walker LLC, Jones subdivision, 123, 145 Walker Road, unlisted type 2 negative deck.
Second.
Sharon Steigerwald,
Yes.
Steve Law, Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Schleider,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson, Steve Hittner.
And for Dean Jones and Hammond Walker LLC, owner Dean Jones and Hammond Walker LLC, seeking a property merge to merge two parcels into one parcel. This is in the RVL zoning district, tax account number 023 dot 03 dash 002 dash 002 dot 2 and 023 dot 03 dash 002 dash 002 dot 11. Property merge application been received and the site plan.
Sharon Steigerwald,
Yes.
Steve Loth,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Schleider,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you,
Now I'll
Rich.
have to come back for this one.
You have some eyelashes for me by any chance? My wife would not forgive me if I didn't bring some home if they were all signed.
Oh, I have
I
two.
can wait.
I can do.
Instead of flowers, you bring them flowers.
Well, that's our love talk.
Mother's Day is not until Sunday.
That's the joy of being a partner with you, I guess.
We got a cupcake.
Well, you go to bed.
Are we gonna?
Well, we could have a discussion or anything from the town board. Anything for the town board we want to go over?
Waiting on language for the solar, just waiting on the attorney to draw the language up.
Well, that last meeting go pretty good.
Yep.
JP, anything?
No news.
Keith, your first email was spot on.
Mistakes have been made. Didn't Nixon say that?
You know what? You know, if everybody had a chance to read through that process, they're very organized.
Thank you. Now I'd ask you to please forget everything, because it has nothing to do with you.
Printed it.
I mean, I have no problem, you know, but somebody should take notes if you get a chance, if you read any of that for any period of time longer than you figure none of those streets were in the town of Hamlin.
Yeah. Washington Street. I
Never
printed it
anything like that.
before I realized.
No, never have.
You should send the email without the attachments. That's my say.
We have two here for you.
Thank you.
Janine, the trees program, has that already happened?
Yeah.
It's already happened.
Yeah, on the corner of Rainy Saturday morning. Because we are 500 trees. Well, there were a few left over and Cheryl put them in the town hall and gave them out to people at the town, people in the town hall.
We only had 10 people come in to grab. Well, trees. Sad though. And then, yeah. All right. You brought a cupcake because you could have brought a tree.
Yep.
All the berries.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Did we adjourn everything yet?
I missed that.
Did we adjourn? Oh.
Nobody made a motion.
Sir, does anyone want to adjourn the meeting?
Well, I was gonna try to get that out, but everybody was talking.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, everybody drive home safe, and guess what? Not too dark. Not yet, not too dark out yet. Yes. I don't have a read, I'm sorry. Okay, yes. Bye, drive safe. See you next month.